Welcome back. We're switching gears to politics, but before we get to that, of course, we have a few updates. Of course, you know the President Tinubu is not in the country, departing Abuja for Paris, France, for a private visit. And then after that private visit, he'll be on his way to Addis Ababa, that's the Ethiopian capital. And I'm looking at the reports here. He'll be joining African leaders at the 46th Ordinary Session of the Executive Council and the 38th Ordinary Session of the Assembly of the AU Heads of State, scheduled from February the 12th to February the 16th. So we'll be giving you the updates on that. Now, as we started the show today, we said if you close your eyes for too long in Nigeria, everything will happen and you will not know what has happened. You will not know what country you're in. Then you open up your eyes. And why are we saying that? Well, the PDP, we had been watching that impasse in the PDP, especially with the office of the National Secretary. And for many people in that party, the office of the acting chairman of the party is also one in contention. But we'll get to that later. The Board of Trustees of the People's Democratic Party has affirmed the appointment of Ude Okoye. Mr. Ude Okoye, yes, the man you saw, bald-faced and barefooted, running out of that meeting in Wadata House. He has been affirmed as the National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. The way to progress in the PDP will be our focus this morning. That Board of Trustees also met yesterday I think at the Hilton. They met yesterday and made that decision. Now, there is one man who has been saying that this was going to be the outcome. No matter what happened, no matter what letters they submit, no matter what meetings happen, he has always said that Ude Okoye will be the National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party. And joining us is that same man, Mr. Ologbondiyan, former spokesperson of the People's Democratic Party. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you very much, Kayla. Good morning, and good morning, Nigeria.
I said I was going to write down a few things that you can help me to prophesy on. Because
am I a prophet?
It looks a little... It's beginning to look like this prophecy ministry of yours. It looks like it's yielding results. But let's talk about the meat of the matter. Is this Uhuru, or are there more contentious issues for the People's Democratic Party? And then, of course, the process that led to Ude Okoye being recognized by the governors and the Board of Trustees as the National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party.
Thank you very much, Kayla. But before I proceed, let me quickly sympathize with the people of Zamfara State, particularly the governor of the state, Mr. Dauda Lawal, on the death of 17 pupils of Islamia school due to an inferno that occurred in their school. It's a pity, and I also sympathize with the parents and guardians of those pupils. But having said that, let's go back to our party. Well, it is clear to the eye and to everybody who is interested in the activities of the PDP that going by the trajectory of the court matters, in respect of the position of the National Secretary, Ude Okoye was definitely going to be recognized by the party. And let me give you a background to this. There was a decision by Senator Samayahu to vie for the governorship of Imo State. He went and contested, and before he came back, the Southeast geopolitical zone of the People's Democratic Party, through its leadership, came together and said, oh, our National Secretary has gone to contest election, so let us find a replacement. And they collectively nominated Honorable SKE Ude Okoye. Having done that, he submitted his nomination. But there were issues in the party because it was turned down. He went to court, to the Federal High Court in Enugu. Senator Samayahu went to the Federal High Court in Abuja. These are two courts of same jurisdiction, according to lawyers. And the judgment, in line with what happened in Nigeria today, Samayahu got one judgment. Ude Okoye got his own judgment too. So the next place to go to is the Court of Appeal. It was Senator Ayawu who went to Court of Appeal. It was not Ude Okoye. So when Senator Ayawu went to the Court of Appeal, Ude Okoye engaged with him, not through himself, but through a member of the party who is concerned. Engaged with Ayawu. And the judgment in the Court of Appeal said that from the day that Senator Ayawu left to contest for governorship, he has ceased to be the National Secretary. And as such, declare Ude Okoye as National Secretary. We're unsatisfied. Senator Ayawu proceeded for a stay of execution before the Court of Appeal. Somehow, the president of the Court of Appeal moved the matter from Enugu to Abuja and presided over the matter. And in her decision, the president of the Court of Appeal ruled that you are looking for a stay of execution, but I will grant you status quo ante bellum, pending when I give judgment on 27th of January. 27th of January has passed. Judgment on stay of execution has not been given. Because if you look at the order, although they abandoned 2 orders, but the order that came out of the court clearly stated that she will give judgment, that the president of the Appeal will give judgment on January 27 on stay of execution. You understand? But in the interim, before that judgment, let there be status. Today is February 6th. No judgment has been given. If you speak to lawyers, and I've spoken to a couple of lawyers, particularly the senior advocates, they will tell you that in the inflection of time, that order of status quo has ceased to exist.
Is that how that really works?
Yes. So it has in the inflection of time because the court said that.
That's the argument.
Yeah, the court says that.
If you're supposed to maintain status quo ante bellum, that means that things should remain. Someone should stay in that office.
Pending judgment.
Pending that, if the judgment hasn't been given, why has he been removed?
So judgment hasn't been given, and today is June. Today is already June. Today is February 6th. And as we are speaking, no judgment has been given.
So does the order now cease to exist?
According to lawyers, the order has ceased to exist.
They will fight you on this one.
In the fusion of time.
They will not agree with you.
Having said that, the party at the last BOT before this one meeting decided that, look, Honorable Tani Moturaki, former Minister of Special Duties, who has always risen for the party in times of legal conflict, that both Ayahu and Udeokoye to submit their judgments. Okay, so upon the examining of those judgments, so that he can examine those judgments and advise the BOT. And let me tell you, Killer, this will not be the first time that Tani Moturaki, SAN, is carrying out that kind of activity. All right, let's talk a little bit about some of the issues here. I think it was Mr. Lere Olayinka, Minister Wike spokesperson. I heard him talking recently on Channels TV and right here in our station, and he was talking a little about what we're getting from the courts and a lacuna. At least inferred, really, from what he said. He didn't say directly, but inferred from what he said. When it comes to the office of the National Secretary, it is the party that is supposed to sort that out, not the court's judgment, and that particular area, where you leave your office as National Secretary to go and contest for election, it's not really clear on what should happen there, or it does seem like when it comes to the party, you can go and you can come back, and it is only the NWC or the NEC or the BOT that can actually decide who the national secretary of the party is going to be, not a court judgment. And that the fact that the man vacated, he didn't vacate, he took an excuse to go and run for, that's Mr. Samanyahu, took an excuse to go run for governor. Doesn't mean that his seat was now vacant. He finished and he came back. And this is an internal party matter. Killer. The challenge in the PDP today, largely, is due to the fact that we pick and choose the laws that we want to obey. Okay, if I even go by the argument of Mr. Lere, that is the party that should decide it. Okay, the BOT has taken a decision. The Governors Forum, the most influential pressure group in the party, the most influential, and I say this with every sense of responsibility, the most influential group in the party is the Governors Forum. They have said they have taken a decision, which aligns with the position of the BOT. You have not called NEC. If you call NEC today, I can assure you here that the NEC will go the same way. You understand? So if you say that, oh, we shouldn't have left it, it shouldn't have been the decision of the court. Party should have decided it. But the party organs are deciding now, and you are not ready to abide. That is one side. Killer, also don't forget that Ambassador Ilyasu Umar Damagun, the acting national chairman, who is sitting on the right of the North Central people. He's sitting by virtue of the protection that he got from the court, not by the party. So why are you not going to say that, oh, in one case, as it affects Damagum, we should obey the court. In another case, as it affects Udeokoye, we should not go by the court. But the bottom line of all this and the success of it is the fact that even the party organs are also speaking in line with the decision of the court. I know PDP because I have covered PDP as a reporter. I know the party that is a law-obeying political party. It will not abandon a decision of the court and recourse to self-help. So
does that mean, and I want to be able to get Ayo in on this, does that now mean that whenever someone who's occupying a position in the People's Democratic Party decides to run for office, that is the office for any political office, that office that he's occupying in the PDP, does that mean that it is now vacant? I think that's one of the. Does that mean that he's so everyone who's holding any office right now in the People's Democratic Party, does that mean that if he wants to run for any office, that office he was holding in the PDP is now vacant? Is that what it means?
I've sat in the NWC and I've seen that happen over and over. The members of working committee want to go and contest election.
Yes.
They resign.
All right, let's get Ayo to weigh in on this conversation. Ayo, go ahead.
Well, one of the issues that I would want to raise with you is the people, the members of the party. This is not the time, I mean, you would agree with me that we're having this kind of issues, particularly about the People's Democratic Party, issues that have been raised over time, how do you call it now? Family matters, combustible issues treated as family affairs, and all of that. It's, for me, one of the major challenges that come as a result of this is the trust that is dwindling. I mean, PDP is about the most, if not, well, one of the most, if not the most prominent and the most consistent of all political parties since 1999, since this Fourth Republic began. But it will seem like almost 10 years now, the PDP has been its own attacker, its own enemy, its own foe over the past 10 years or thereabout. And it will seem like this consistency, has sustained itself one way or the other with the infighting on a sustainable level. Now, I know you're going to say something like, all parties have these kind of issues, but all parties are also not PDP. Don't you think it's impeding on the trust that the members of the party have on it, not being able to deal with these issues, as quickly as possible?
Thank you very much, Ayo, and good morning and Happy New Year to you, Ayo. I've listened to you, and I accept that there are challenges within the party. And it's just because a political party is a mix. You find the clean, you find the dirty, and you find all sorts. But you must pull together, because that is why it is called a political party. It is a mix. So the unfortunate situation is that the rule that guides the party provides that nobody should go to court, that whatever the party decides should be acceptable. But you find people who will go under the issue of, oh, my rights, my constitutional rights, my freedom, and all that, and they want to take the party to court. It's happening over a period of time. But if the court now decides, and that's why I have challenge, if the court now decides in one way or the other, I believe that you first accept the decision of the court. Then if you have the opportunity to still go to courts of superior standing, you should also proceed to that. In the current matter, if Senator Ayahu is displeased with the judgment of the Court of Appeal in Enugu and has applied for stay of execution, and the way things look, and from the examination of the party through the former minister, Kabiru Moturaki, and it appears that they come out with a decision that you do not have a stay, all well and good, you are in the Supreme Court, obey this court first, which is the court of second instance in this matter. You have lost and won one in the Federal High Court. You went to appeal, you have lost it. You are asking for a stay. It has not been granted. So proceed to the Supreme Court, but in the interim, allow the party to function. I think this is what normal and civil society will do. But unfortunately, it's not going that way, but the party is struggling within itself to rescue herself and make sure that it delivers on its own responsibility.
You know, but Mr. Ologbondiyan, one of the issues that also rises here is, I mean, Kayla already called you a prophet, so maybe we can just hold on to that for a bit. But did you see this coming? And also, are there other likely combustible issues that the party needs to deal with? Otherwise, it blows up to what we have now or even worse.
We saw it coming. And anybody in the People's Democratic Party who is interested in the life of the party cannot claim not to know that this will happen. But having said that, I still insist, and I believe I speak for majority of the people of the North Central, that even if it is going to be for a day, the North Central must be allowed to take over the office of the substantive national chairman, which was vacated by Senator Iyorchia Ayu, through which Ambassador Elias Damagum assumed office in acting capacity, which means it's not substantive. So we need, whether the life of this executive will end in December or it will end before then, the North Central should be given the opportunity. Otherwise, the challenge that led to G5 is still alive. It may not function in the same way, but it will be on record that the party at a point was unjust to the people of the North Central.
So, Ologbondiyan, I like to look at issues etymologically. I like to look at the roots of the issues. Now, you said something the other time that the normal thing, the sensible thing to do is to follow the rules, follow the laws, and follow the processes and all of that. I believe, as you have said, that the People's Democratic Party is one based on rule of law. And there are systems in place that, as you often say from time to time, the party has internal mechanisms to deal with these issues. I assume that one of the instruments of those mechanisms is the constitution of the party. Do you think there is allegiance by members of the party to that constitution? Because I'm wondering if the constitution is existent and there are laid down procedures, whether written or unwritten, the issues you are raising here now and the fears you are surreptitiously expressing would be invalid.
Thank you very much. The constitution of the party is very clear. But because of interests, people set out to manipulate that same constitution. For instance, Section 47(6) of the PDP Constitution, as amended in 2017, is very clear on the issue of succession in the executive office of the party. And in fact, sometimes people refer to another section, but that section closes by saying that without hurting the provision of 47(6). Is a paraphrase for me. Section 47(6) says that where vacancy occurs in a zone or area, it didn't say in a region. In a zone or area, the executive at that level will take a replacement. It didn't say we'll go to convention. More so, the neck of the party has the powers constitutionally to act on behalf of the convention. So all the issues, all the challenges that we are facing in the PDP today, the provisions of the constitution of the party, as amended in the 2017, is very clear, is unambiguous. It can suit whatever the situation that we find ourselves. And in the case of the National Secretary, people are saying that, oh, there's no provision in the constitution. Okay, there's no provision in the constitution, but somebody went to court, and court has ruled in a particular manner, in a particular way. Like I said earlier, if you are dissatisfied, obey the decision of the court first and proceed to the next level of superiority of the court system. I think that's what should be done. But as we speak today, in matter of the National Secretary, it is clear the Governors Forum has spoken, and they said that having examined the judgments, Udo Okoye is a recognized National Secretary. The Board of Trustees has come up and said, having examined the judgments of the court, Udo Okoye is the National Secretary. And they have also called on the Board of Trustees has called on the working committee to proceed by affirming Udo Okoye as the National Secretary. So the party is waiting for the National Working Committee to do the needful. I want to put it this way.
Well, in the meantime, what would you propose to the members of the party? Because there are those, there is the assumption that some people believe that they own the party because they donate, they provide a lot of its resources, and the members don't seem to be able to do much. It would seem like bad precedents have been laid, and the members who are coming behind to take over the quote-unquote reins of power in the party are likely to sustain this. How does the party come back from this?
Honestly, Ayo, if we look at the party system in our country today, there is a quick need to go back to the Second Republic system in which parties are self-funding. Until we revert to that situation, and this is not limited to the People's Democratic Party, it's across all parties. Until we revert back to the situation in which members of the political party fund their parties, we will continue to have situations like this. And it's not going to augur well for our democracy. So for me, I would recommend that parties should be self-funded. Thank you.
Interesting. Well, Kela, you have to take over from here, but just to quickly inform the viewer that the coronation and presentation of staff of office to the monarch, His Royal Majesty Gubo Johnson Dio Matalo, is going on, and we will be joining that event in a moment today at the 6th of February 2025. This is for all of our audience on the DSTV platform alone. Kela.
And of course, our conversations will continue, but as we wrap up, NEC is next.
Yeah, NEC is it's March 13. And the decision to arrive at that was taken with the chairman of the acting chairman of the party and the Governors Forum, that March 13. So that all activities preceding NEC, including the 21-day notice, will be issued. And I think that for us to safeguard this party, for us to bring life back to the party, we need a quick way of reconciling all these issues and putting these issues behind us.
I want to thank you very much for making out the time to be with us. And good luck with the PDP.
Thank you, Kela.
We'll be watching, hopefully, everything is sorted out and we can have a viable opposition to the APC.
We hope so.
All right, Business Morning on Sunrise Daily is up next. Please stay with us.